starts.
It is the Pete Sousa Show, and we are here. We're live, by the way. We are at Sykora Family Ford of West, and if you look over my shoulder right here, I'm working a new deal right now on a 2025 Ford Bronco. You see that thing? That is hot pepper red. It's got the Sasquatch. I mean, we are tricked out here. We are ready to go from Sykora Family Ford, obviously one of our presenting sponsors, along with Slovacek's. Also like to thank Crawford Austin Properties, D1, Daniel Stark Injury Lawyers, and we couldn't have a better setup here, by the way. We're basically right in the middle of the showroom. I got Brian Sykora just staring at me right here. We got the whole crew. We are ready to go, and there's a ton of traffic coming in and out trying to take advantage of some of these deals. One of the things I want to talk about, too, December 24th, Christmas Eve, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m., the pancake breakfast is here, right, Brian? Santa will be here?
Yes, Santa's here. Yeah, Santa and an elf. We have an elf that works part-time here. He's very popular at this event as well.
I can promise you the elf is not me. I'm too tall to be the elf. But they're already ready to go. Santa's fire truck is getting ready. I think it's going to go out and pick them up. He's going to call the Uber. It'll come grab him on the 24th. And here we are at Sykora Family Ford. And again, really could not have a better setup, especially for a high school football fan like myself. Right now, we've got La Vega duking it out with Carthage. This is the Division II 4A championship happening right now, so we can keep you posted on that. 14-7 right now. Carthage has the lead, but La Vega is driving. It is that time of year. All kinds of playoff football happening, and that's where we'll start today. Tonight's big games. Oh, by the way, second segment, a couple more items I want to get to. Second segment, we're going to have Paul Catalina join us. Obviously, Paul of 365 fame also has the Triple Option Show. We're going to talk to him about some of these college football playoff games. The number one thing to get into when you're talking about the college football playoff game is tonight's game. That's where we'll start. 7 o'clock Central Time, local time here in Central Texas. You can watch Indiana and Notre Dame. One thing you can watch, too, up on the Rogue Media Network feed, Sawyer Robertson, obviously Baylor's quarterback, spoke to him probably about 3 weeks ago. That interview now is up on our feed, thanks to our friends at GXG. So a great opportunity to get to know Sawyer Robertson. I felt like I was super lucky to be able to sit down with him. That's a guy who leads with faith and has that entire football team behind him. They are getting set to play their bowl game, the Texas Bowl, on the 31st of December. They're going to take on, that's going to be an absolutely huge game. They're going to take it on LSU. That place will be packed. Be cool to see LSU fans travel to Houston, as you know they will, and hopefully Baylor fans will get out there too. But the opportunity to talk with Sawyer Robertson was a real treat for us because, what's up? Look at the camera. Who's saying that? Zach? Is that Ben? That's Ben. Okay, we got Ben on site. I need all the direction and all the help I can get. So Ben's like, hey, buddy, look at the camera over here. I got so much going on. But no, you can check out that Sawyer Robertson interview. It is up now. Rogue and GXG partnering with Baylor in order to make that happen. And Sawyer Robertson is a special kid. And it was a privilege, like I was saying earlier, to talk to him because nobody really has gotten the opportunity to sit down for him or with him for about 30 minutes and not only find out where he found the resolve to bounce back from a rough start of maybe you'd say his college football career, right? This is a kid talking about Sawyer Robertson. He goes to goes to Mississippi State to play for Mike Leach. Obviously, tragedy ensues. Mike Leach passes away. He's trying to figure out where he's going to go to school. Dave Aranda and Baylor, extremely appealing to him. He comes to Baylor, plays a little bit in his first year behind Blake Shapen because Shapen gets hurt, but really not something that you would write home about his initial year. And then this year, he stays with the team in camp. He battles for the starting job, does not get it, ultimately is able to earn the starting position and turn the entire football program around. And now he's one of the hottest players in America. And the question we're talking about is there a chance where this guy might even leave school into the transfer portal? From what I've heard talking to people around the school, that is not the case. He will be sticking around, talking about Sawyer Robertson, Bryson Washington as well. And it gets a little scary when you talk about the transfer portal. Guys jumping all over the place right now. And we'll talk about that a little bit coming up as we get into the college football playoff. But we are here live at Sykora Family Ford out in West. If you get a chance to come by, take advantage of some of the deals. Around this time of year, there's no better opportunity to buy a car and no better place to come than Sykora Family Ford. Again, over my shoulder, that's I got to look at this right. That's hot pepper red, Brian?
Pepper red, yeah.
That is hot pepper red, and that's the Sasquatch?
Sasquatch package on
the Sasquatch package on that thing. So you're going to want to come here and see it for yourself. I can promise. There's a whole lot of bells and whistles out here, especially with the meat and potatoes. It'll get you that Sasquatch package and basically a card where you can take anywhere. So college football playoffs begin tonight. It's a whole new frontier, and there's a lot of excitement around that. Notre Dame taking on Indiana. I have a key for this Indiana football game for you, okay? And I'm going to tell you why, not like I'm the authority or I have a crystal ball, but if there was one more reason why I feel like Indiana could pull off the upset, it's because of their quarterback, Curtis Rourke. This is two teams from the state of Indiana. So if you're Notre Dame and you get that bye, you're thinking, man, wouldn't it be great if we could get a team like Clemson or maybe SMU, teams from warmer weather climates? Let's have them come, right, to South Bend and play. Tonight, the temperature is going to be 28 degrees. This is the latest weather forecast I have. 28 degrees in South Bend. The wind will be kicking about 15 miles per hour. Look, we're sitting here probably 60, 70 miles from SMU. And I can tell you right now, it is 60 degrees and sunny here in Central Texas. Sunsplash day. This is the type of weather we're used to this time of year in Texas. Yeah, it'll get colder tonight. But to imagine that the Mustangs will be ready to go into that environment and play the type of football they're used to playing in those conditions, man, that's going to be tough for them tomorrow against Penn State. But when you talk about Indiana, it's a different story. This is a team that has played in cold weather throughout the season, and a lot of cold weather guys, right? The players that they recruit are from the Midwest. They are no stranger to this environment. And Curtis Rourke is a great example. He's a quarterback that is from Canada, knows a lot about playing in cold weather. Another thing that jumps out about that game is Marcus Freeman just getting an extension at Notre Dame. There's a lot of pageantry and excitement around the Notre Dame program right now. And I do not ever think that in a game of this magnitude, you're not going to catch a team like Notre Dame sleeping. But fact of the matter is, these guys are good enough, Indiana is, to pull off the upset. So that's a game clearly you want to keep an eye on. By the way, a game we're keeping an eye on right now, La Vega was driving down the field in the 4A Division II championship playoff game against Carthage. And the drive, whatever happened, it stalled out. And La Vega lost the football. So now Carthage has it. Still early in the third quarter. Carthage just had a player go offside, so they're moving the wrong direction. Their coach is upset. We are pulling for La Vega coach John Hyde right now, hoping they can get the job done. Moving to tomorrow. So now we're talking about SMU and Penn State. I was surprised to see that spread has remained at 8.5 points. So I want to talk a little about the ACC when we talk about two teams playing tomorrow. We've got SMU going tomorrow against Penn State. Again, I think it's so important to bring temperature into this and climate into this and the latest forecast. It goes back to, if you can remember Brent Musburger, I was a kid, right? I grew up at the foot of my parents' television set, watching Brent Musburger, watching the NFL Today show with Jimmy the Greek. And Brent would come on the air and he would say, "You are looking live at Arrowhead Stadium where it is 35 degrees and rainy." That was an indication and a wink to bettors all across America as to, hey, I'm giving you the latest up-to-date info on this game and exactly how you might want to bet it if that's something you're into. If you're into that, SMU, I can tell you it's going to be 28 degrees and sunny tomorrow in Happy Valley at Penn State. But SMU getting 8.5 points. And we just talked about the fact that the climate and the temperature in that area of the country is much different than players are accustomed to here in Central Texas and especially up towards the North Texas part of the state. But they're 8.5-point underdogs. Later on in the afternoon, Clemson taking on Texas. Clemson is a 12-point favorite over Clemson. That is a situation where I look at that and I think, man, two things. The ACC is still not getting respect, right? They can pound their chest and say, "Oh, we're not getting the respect we deserve." Okay, like, understood. But at the end of the day, there's a reason why, and you hear this, and it's a cliche, but a lot of times these are cliches because they're very true. The odds makers in Las Vegas do a magnificent job, like it or not, and there are many times where I haven't liked it because I've been on the losing end. But these odds that they put together are amazingly accurate most of the time. So the indication that SMU is an 8.5-point underdog on the road at Penn State, and that Texas is a 12-point underdog, or excuse me, Clemson is a 12-point underdog playing at Texas. Look, they play the games for a reason, and we're going to find out all of this tomorrow. But initially, you would say, well, there's a body of work that SMU and Clemson have put together that is nowhere near up to snuff of the opponents they're taking on today or tomorrow. And the ACC not getting respect probably comes for a good reason, but we will find out tomorrow. But right now, both of those teams are big underdogs. Looking ahead to next week, there's something that jumped out at me because this morning the news that Carson Beck, Georgia's star quarterback, will not be playing in next week's game, which will be a quarterfinal college football playoff game. He's going to be out, and the reason he's out is an elbow injury. And when you have an elbow injury on your throwing on your throwing hand or your throwing arm, I guess you would say, that is just no bueno for a quarterback. Right now, again, you talk about conditions, climate. Once you get to the quarterfinals and the semifinals, you're playing either in a dome or in nice weather cities. So it's not as though he'll be trying to throw a football in 30-degree weather. But apparently, as it looks right now, according to Kirby Smart and according to all kinds of reports out there, he won't be throwing a ball in any kind of weather or in any conditions. Carson Beck won't be because of this injury. So with Carson Beck out, there's a change now going on for Georgia. And they've got a different quarterback in there. So now you look to your backup, right? And I can't believe I'm forgetting this. Here it is. So Cardell Jones, that's what I wanted to talk about. Cardell Jones was quarterback for Ohio State in 2014. Now, Cardell Jones, his first game was the conference championship. His second game was the semifinal, and his final game was the championship game. Now, he ended up starting for Ohio State, obviously coming in late in the season, where he won 3 straight games, which included the national championship. That, to me, was an indication of, Cardell Jones did a tremendous job. If you remember, they were calling him the rifleman. He was throwing the ball deep down the field, and Ohio State barely got in the playoff, but they got in the playoff. Cardell Jones was their quarterback, and they ended up winning a national championship for Urban Meyer. Again, this was in 2014. I look at Gunnar Stockton, who's the backup quarterback right now for Georgia, taking over for Carson Beck with a very similar opportunity. And the reason that I compare the two are when you talk about blue chip programs like this, when you a dyed-in-the-wool Big Ten powerhouse, especially back in 2014, Ohio State, and an SEC power like Georgia, and all the national championships that they have collected in recent years. And when you're running, you see teams try to run the football against Georgia, especially that front four. There's nowhere to go. Like if a player like Ashton Genty from Boise State ends up bumping into Georgia at some point during this college football playoff, it's overwhelming how good that defense is and the athletes they have on that Georgia football team and in the SEC. And I think when you look at a backup quarterback like Gunnar Stockton, it's a similar situation. If he has to come in, and he is coming in, to take over for Carson Beck, he doesn't have to do a whole lot. He'll have opportunities where he needs to make big plays, 3rd and longs, or maybe he'll be able to surprise the defense by throwing the ball downfield on 1st down with a play action. But Georgia is not created around Carson Beck. Carson Beck is a terrific quarterback, but it's more about, especially a program like Georgia, it's about the football team. It's about the ingredients top to bottom. When you turn the page and you look at, I was just talking about Ashton Genty, a team like that is more about the quarterback. On the other side, Big 12, other side of the bracket now, Cam Skattebo and Arizona State. That's as much as I'd like to see Arizona State win because it's a representative of the Big 12, and I want to see them continue the run that they're on right now. Similar situation where you have a great running back, and that great running back can very quickly be minimized or made to look pedestrian if you have an amazing defense that is racing all over the field. So a lot of folks out there, and this is the story of the day, what exactly is going to happen with Georgia now that you lose Carson Beck. I don't think that that's any reason to jump ship on Georgia if that's a team that you're looking at right now, looking to ride to the college football playoff championship. Quick look over at the La Vega score. 3rd and 12. Carthage, I think they just know incomplete. So now we got a 4th and very long coming up for Carthage. La Vega is down 14-7 early in the 4th quarter. So it is go time right now for the Pirates. This looks like these games are so much fun, by the way. It's just yesterday there were a couple games, the triple. I ended up bumping into a woman at the 7-Eleven in Waco, and she was talking to me because she kind of recognized me. We started talking about sports, and she could not stop talking about the triple overtime game. It's pretty cool. Texas high school football kind of brings everybody under the same tent. And that's something you just absolutely love to see. Coming up under our tent soon, we have Paul Catalina of 365 fame. He's going to talk to us a little. He told us that Smokey threw him a curveball today. We were expecting him here to join us out at Sykora Family Ford. We were going to try to get him into one of these Broncos with the Sasquatch package, but he'll have to come out and see him in person later on. Maybe Paul can come out on the 24th, where Santa's going to be out here. That's a pancake breakfast, correct?
Correct.
You can never get enough pancakes, especially at Sykora Family Ford on the 24th. That's going to be 6 to 10. Santa's going to be here. Bring the kids. We got a truck. I mean, it's all going to be going down outside here at Sykora Family Ford. And don't get the wrong idea. We'll be inside in case it gets cold. But you're going to want to come out here for that. No better way to celebrate the Christmas season. And it's a lot of fun being here today. We are live at Sykora Family Ford. The show will continue after this. We're looking forward to welcoming Paul Catalina here. I want to get his opinion because I need some fresh air as far as what other folks are thinking about the college football playoff, because I've made up my mind, and I think I'm a little bit too far down the rabbit hole on how conditions are going to affect these first round games. I've said it before. I will say it again. Whether you're a man and you're a football fan, or you're a woman or you're a football fan, like, be very careful this weekend, because we've got 4 college football playoff games, and we got, I think, 3 NFL games on Saturday. Like, you just want to make sure that you're able to keep it together. And remember, happy wife, happy life. That's just a good way to go about things. So if you've got things to get done around the house or for the holiday season, now would be the time to do it. As it looks like La Vega has